Extreme 3D Louboutin Heel Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish.
Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be showing you a extreme high heel nail art design that is Louboutin inspired. So it's got the iconic red heel on it, or the red sole, and it's a really long stiletto nail that's got a really pretty white chrome background to it and rhinestones and all sorts of good stuff. I hope you guys like this design as much as I do, and Melody likes her rocks. And don't forget to check out the description box because I have a couple more high heel designs in there, a Cinderella shoe as well as a ruby slipper, yellow brick road little design. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!
Bye.
I'm going to begin with a layer of white acrylic down the nail. Like I said in the intro, this is a really nice long stiletto. I thought that was the absolute appropriate nail shape for this type of a design. And so just to have a really nice thin layer going all the way down the nail. Like any longer nail, you want to make sure that it is really nice and strong and has a really good apex in it. And I'm going to be building that up with some clear acrylic. So I'm just going to add another layer of acrylic straight down over the entire nail, making sure that that apex area, that stress point, has a nice curve in it. Just like so. After all that is done, I'm going to quickly file the nail into shape, make sure that it's all sleek and elegant looking. After that's done, I'm going to apply a layer of no wipe top coat and cure that, gel top coat, and then I'm going to burnish in some white chrome powder over the entire thing, smooth it out with a gloved hand. That works really well. I've found kind of my recent style. And then I'm going to be applying a layer of gel sealer over the entire thing to seal in that chrome powder. So now I'm going to get my little shoe base set up. So I have a piece of, this is actually poster putty, but poster putty or clay. I'm going to give it that sole heel, that little curve to it, and I'm going to cover it up with some plastic wrap of any variety. And then I'm going to take black acrylic and I'm going to sculpt the first layer of the shoe. So I have the heel on the top of that little piece that I sculpted, and then it goes down, the arch of the foot goes down, and then the toe area of the shoe is on the base. After that has set up a little bit, I'm going to add a second layer to it. So don't take it off your little shoe form or anything because it's going to be super thin and very, very delicate. So if you leave it on there, at least for a little while, it's a little awkward to work on top of, but it does do its job. So add a second layer, this time a little bit thicker, and slowly try to form in the shape of the shoe, of the sides of the shoe. And this whole design is a little bit awkward when you're doing it. Actually, if you wanted to use like an Acrygel, that would probably work quite a bit easier. I personally use acrylic for almost anything, so I still did that. But after, I've done a couple different of these shoes and I was thinking about it, and an Acrygel probably would be a better way to go if you are familiar with such things. So now I'm going to be adding more layers to my shoe until I'm happy with the shape of it. And if anything, you want your shoe to be bulkier and thicker than what you want it to be in the end. So you don't want to be skimpy on your product. You want to leave yourself enough space that when you start to file it into shape, you're not going to file it too skinny and thin looking. You want it to have enough bulk on it that you want to get rid of some, because that's going to give you a much better end result and end shape. Obviously, you don't want it to be a huge blob, but you know what I mean. A little dotting tool like I'm using now really helps to sort of carve away certain areas if you need them to. As you can see on the side of my shoe, I've got a little bit of a straggler going on. And keep looking at it from every single angle. Look at it all over different sides and shapes. Try to build it up the side of the shoe, the part that would go right along your foot. And obviously, there are many, many styles of Christian Louboutin shoes, and you can do whatever you like. I just kind of went for a classic black pump style. A pointed toe shoe would definitely be amazing. I've seen some ones that have some studs here and there. That would be a cool thing to add if you wanted to. I decided to go just kind of like the iconic look, but there are so many options that you could just keep making these forever and ever and ever. It's such a fun, very free type of design. So just keep adding the black acrylic until you are happy with it. And it does take quite a bit, and it's very tempting to try to do this in just a few really large beads and do it all at once. I don't recommend doing that. I would recommend doing it kind of slow and steady. And so then I'm going to take, and I flipped the shoe over after the top is all set up, and I'm going to smooth out the sole. So the top from the plastic wrap, it's a little wrinkly looking, it's not completely smooth, it isn't perfect. So just add a bead just going right along the sole to smooth that out. And then I'm going to set that little shoe against a nail form backing, and I'm going to sculpt the shape of the heel. So this is just a very thin little base for your heel. It's not the whole thing. So just kind of start it out just like so. Push it in from side to side. It doesn't have to be perfect. Again, all this whole design will be completely filed momentarily. And so then after you have that done and it's set, peel it off the nail form backing, glue that onto the heel of the shoe. Make sure that you look at it from, again, all sides to make sure it's got the right angles on it. And then after you have it done so far, then you're going to want to bulk it up with some more black acrylic. Add layer upon layer upon layer. The black acrylic I'm using is Koopa's 3-in-1 powder, so they say it's a dipping powder, a ombre powder, and a 3D powder, but it has a nice, it doesn't self-level at all, which a lot of acrylics are made to do that so that it's easier to sculpt out an entire nail. Well, these 3-in-1 powders from Koopa do not self-level in the slightest. So if we're doing a crazy design like that, like this, it is definitely a benefit. So if you have such a thing, that would be recommended if you are planning on doing this with acrylic, as I did. Obviously, the past shoe designs I did were not one of those 3-in-1 powders from Koopa, so this design is definitely plausible with anything you have. So I'm going to take a fairly small bit in my e-file and I'm going to start just getting this guy into shape. One thing I do recommend as far as your e-file goes is don't have it on too high. I had mine, well, I have a little turny dial and I don't know the RPMs. If I did, I would definitely share that with you. But it's about a third of the way turned on is about where it was. And so that gives you enough power that it's going to shape your shoe, but not so much that all of a sudden it's going to dig a hole into your shoe. The other thing I recommend is, like I said, a fairly narrow bit, but try to find one that's got straight sides. It can be a cone-shaped bit like this one, or it can be a straight barrel. Either way, but I would recommend not like I'm trying to think of what they're called, but like the football-shaped bits. I think some of them are called tornado bits, but those ones don't tend to leave nice straight lines. They're really good for removing gel polish and that kind of stuff, but for this sort of really intricate finish filing, I would recommend a straight-sided bit. You want to carve the inside of the shoe as well as the outside of the shoe. And if you're doing this, I would recommend going on the internet and finding yourself several pictures of high heels. They don't all have to be Louboutin shoes, but they just try to find angles, different angles, upside down, right side out, all of that great stuff, because you want this shoe to look amazing and perfect and fabulous from every single angle. After you have that done, you're going to want to paint the sole of the shoe with red gel polish. The brighter the better. Just make sure you paint the sole of the shoe for that iconic red sole. And it's very appropriate because Louboutin got the idea for the red soles from nail polish, so it seems just so absolutely I don't know, like just perfect that you do a little shoe on a nail. Then I'm going to glue the little shoe onto the center of the nail. Try to get it as straight up and down as you can. Secure it to the nail with some clear acrylic under any little gaps between the heel and the ball of the foot and the nail. Just fill it in, kind of push the acrylic under the shoe, and it'll help secure any gaps. Then apply a layer of some gel sealer over the top of the whole thing. Make this little shoe shine. Just like that. Make sure that you get every little crack and crease that there is. The inside of the shoe as well. And if you want to take this to the next level, I would definitely paint the little Louboutin logo inside the shoe. But I decided that was just taking a little too far. Then I'm going to attach a few rhinestones to the nail with some nail glue. I have a couple red ones. Those are, just to kind of tie the whole thing together. If you're like me, your nail glue is just fighting you every step of the way. So there's the first one. A nice, really big, kind of exaggerated rhinestone setup here. Like I said, you can add some rhinestones or studs or whatever you've got to the shoe. Just try to keep in mind that the shoe is really small, so you want to keep things proportionate. So maybe caviar beads would be a good way to go there. I have a couple little iridescent rhinestones to add here and there to kind of fill it in. I also added a few at the tip of the nail, which I did not record, but I did just kind of fill in the nail just to even everything out. I hope you guys like this design as much as I do. Like I said before, I do have previous shoe designs and I will put links to those below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!